Wow. Now this is a costly mistake. 40,000 pounds fully loaded, completely destroyed this. Usually when this happens, only one part of the landing gear goes down and it sinks in. But this is fully to the frame right there, to the cross beam that connects the landing gears. I just parked here in Hulk. This is very odd to me. This couldn't have happened from this, so I'm guessing it was sinking in here. This is my theory. It was sinking in here, and when they parked it the second time, they moved it over a half a foot. My God, look how deep that is. It goes down to China. So because this is a standard lift for us, I'm gonna keep this running the entire time from me parking to the time I'm done, just to show you guys how fast these jobs are. So first steps first is I gotta get square with the 90 degrees. I'm gonna be putting up my my boom off the side. So I'll back up like 5 feet. Only 5 feet, that's all I need. That should do it. And I set up the outriggers. Sorry if this is slow, I'm not going to use any fast forwarding or anything, because I don't feel like cheating. Now on this one I will be using outrigger pads because look how close I am to the point of impact. The outrigger pad will help disperse the footprint right here, the force on that footprint. And I just did a rollover this morning with Dave, so I got 2 slings in here that I put away quick to rush to this call. I'll be using these again. And 2 twist lock shackles. It's dangerous because you know down well everything's gonna be like this. We just activate my free spool. Uh-oh, phone's ringing. Okay, I am gonna pause the video here to take this phone call, but I will keep resuming after the, back to the exact second we were walking out the boom. know what? If you see my truck is leaning, we're at a slight incline. So Hulk has something cool that these Miller rotator trucks have. It's called the 5-degree tilt. Let me activate it right now. How you doing? No problem. Let's raise this one up. Right there should be good. Great. Now the front. We'll do it the easy way. Instead of going up top to the container holes, in lieu of that, I'll be going to the bottom container holes with my 8-foot grommet slings. So I got the sling protectors here, this nylon part, It'll make it cut, well, not cut resistant, but it'll protect the sling from the rusted sharp edges here. And let me walk on my boom first before I put on the blue sleeves. Good. Now we can deactivate free spool. Go a little bit more down on my outriggers. That's okay. Yeah, I could deal with that. Now we can stand on this side just so I can see this coming up. That's heavy. I feel it. Jeez. As always, the trick is to come up straight. Going in with just one cable only too much. We either push it that way or this way, and then you bring up a lot more of the asphalt. Rigging's good. Beautiful. You guys know where the truck is at? Okay.
I bet you're busy this morning.
Very. This happens quite often in big yards.
Yeah.
This thing's probably every bit of 50,000 pounds. It feels very heavy. I always say that when it's the rainy season and then it gets super hot back and forth over time, it's just, it does this. This one was bad though. It was sunk a good 3 feet.
It was already, whoever dropped this last night, it was already, somebody had already sunk into it.
I seen that.
He didn't just
that's the first thing I said. Like, they saw it sunk, so they moved it over 6 inches. Okay. Yeah, exactly my thoughts. So someone had parked it there, seen that, and was too lazy to do anything about it, so they just moved it over like 6 inches. Now this happened. And because I never know the skill of the driver coming, just in case they're bad at angling it in, I'm gonna push it over about another 1.5 feet. That way he can back up straight without hitting my outrigger. Right there. Hello. Okay, thank you. It's a lot easier and better than climbing all the way up top. I'll put these back here. Okay, you can hook up. Ready. Ready. You know what, I'll just put these here for now. Gotta clean my truck later anyways. Okay, I will stop the clock here. See how long that was? And that was me moving slowly and explaining and waiting for this driver. From here, all I gotta do is connect my blue oblongs to the tailboard and put the outriggers away, and we're out of here. Job is complete. It's funny. You know what? I'm curious. It goes way deeper than that, but all the rubble fell in. A lot of this stuff is preventable. Look at here. You guys are container or trailer haulers. When you park, you notice stuff like this. It's common sense. It's going to give in at any moment. I can already see impressions on that one. Well, it's impossible to predict what the yard's going to be like, especially if you're delivering to someone new or it's not your yard. But it's always good practice to carry planks, even 2x4s, anything really. Anything under those landing gear pads will create a bigger surface area to disperse the weight more evenly. So 50,000 pounds isn't resting on just those 10 by 10 inch little squares. But it's hot and I'm out of here, so peace out, guys. What up, YouTube? I'm gonna be doing the breakdown in front of Hulk, and I got Dave's truck right here next to me and Big Flipper right here, Alex's weapon of choice. So it is currently the middle of August. We're in a heat wave. But we're in Los Angeles, it's always hot here. But this is such a huge contributing factor to what just happened in this video that I just kind of want to address, because it happens so much. In fact, it happens so much, we don't even film 10% of them. This one, I filmed it only because I thought it was comical that there was a clear sign that the ground was going to give way. And what the driver did is figure, I'll just move it over a few inches thinking that's going to suffice, right? But you have to figure yards like, say, this one, trucking companies where they have containers parked there overnight, coming in day out, loaded with 20, 30, 40, 50, 60,000 pounds. And that's just the load inside of the container, not factoring the tractor itself. Now, granted, all that stuff is spread. So if you have combined 80,000 pounds, the front portion's only going to be X amount. And then the container, you have the rear that's on the wheels. But what people don't realize is when you drop these containers, they're usually loaded from front to back. So you start from the front of the container and you work your way back. So even if the load is, I don't know, let's say half or 3/4 or 20% or a full load, it's almost guaranteed that the very front of it is going to be loaded. Now, whether it's loaded to the back or not is something different. So when you disattach a container and you leave it on the ground, that just leaves a small, literally like 10 inch by 10 inch surface area on each of the container landing gear pads, or I call them the foots, the spades, whatever. And all that weight in the front is concentrated on those two little squares. But I recently got the yard done, I want to say maybe 2.5 years ago, and it still looks perfect. I'm gonna just turn the camera around really quick. So check out this graveyard. Got all kinds of stuff here, heavy stuff. On top of this is where we keep the trucks. And it's not cracking. We can keep stuff here because when I got it done, you need to get the yard done according to the proper specifications. Now, I'm not in construction, so I can't tell you what to get for your yard, but you just tell the builder, hey, I'm gonna have heavy trucks in day out. You go over the rebar, the PSI, how they pack it and everything like that. And don't skimp out, because this is the end result and it happens every single day. Now, I mentioned the weather, and the reason that impacts it is, let's say you're in a state like California that's continuously hot. Well, that weakens this. The sun's constantly on this and it's very hot. Now imagine that, but then you have something like 50,000 pounds concentrated resting on it over a long period of time, day in, day out. It's just a recipe for disaster. So besides the pads that we have, it's not practical for these container drivers to carry them in their trucks. Besides like room space, let's say you only have a day cab. Wood is something that almost everyone should carry, and just a couple of pieces on each side will help disperse it, because now that landing gear is on top of the wood, and the wood, however long you have it, is dispersed over, it disperses that weight more evenly. As for yards themselves, if you guys own a yard where you guys have high container volume, high trailer volume, invest in it. What I see a lot of people do, smart people do, is they have trailer jack stands. So when they know that the containers or trailers are going to be resting for extended periods of time, it's almost like a car jack stand if you've ever seen them, right? Where they crank up, but they're cylindrical and they're a lot higher, obviously, for the containers, and they could support the weight of them on each side. I've seen them go up to like 30,000 pounds each. I see a lot of heavy duty companies, they have big pieces of metal at the GSC yards, like for the airport equipment stuff. That's also not practical because they're horribly heavy, but that works. Again, just wood. Go to your local lumber yard, stock it up, chop it up. It doesn't hurt to have, and it can prevent accidents like this, or worse, a rollover. So that's my PSA. There's not much to it. Just, you know, if you guys are in this industry, know that if your container's gonna be sitting somewhere overnight, you can't, unless you built it or designed it or know the designer, you don't know what it's rated at. So just assume it's weak. Assume it's weak and crib it. So that's it for this quick one. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.